Sega does. Sega does.
2020. It's been a crap year, hasn't it? But know who hasn't had a crap year? Sega. It's Sega's 60th anniversary and all, and we need to celebrate. Reaching the 60 at all is very much a celebration that we should celebrate. That was really redundant to say. Even Famitsu, one of Japan's premium gaming magazines, did a whole special issue about Sega and their 60th anniversary. I have it here, and as you can see, Sega has made a lot of content over the years. Curiously enough though, here in Japan, a lot of people have been talking about Sega's 60th anniversary, but outside of Japan, not so much. So that's what I want to talk about today in this video. But before I get into the content proper, two things really quick. Make sure, if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell as well for notifications on future videos. And also follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram as Zmangs. I've been posting a lot on my Instagram as of late. And if you could do that, that'd be very, very, very sick. So with that out of the way, let's just talk about it. What killed Sega outside of Japan? Sega, a company that I love and adore. I grew up playing Sega games on Sega consoles, and in general, I hold the company in high regard. These days, the company seems to be doing fine, but not quite reaching the highs that they did back in the 90s. This is a topic I've been thinking about for a while, and with it being Sega's 60th anniversary, I figured no time like the present to talk about this topic. What killed Sega? There's already a few videos on this topic on YouTube, but I think I have a new approach that these other videos didn't really talk about. Or maybe. As you can see, I didn't watch a lot of them. So, what was the thing that killed Sega? Some think it was the trifecta of failures of the Sega CD, the 32X, and the American release of the Sega Saturn. Those three things definitely hurt. Like, a lot. They were all released really close to each other, and all of them were just way too expensive. But to elaborate on each one, the Sega CD, and I can kinda see where they were going for with the Sega CD. The PC Engine CD in Japan really helped lengthen the life of the PC Engine, so maybe Sega was trying to do the same thing with the Sega CD. Unfortunately, it was too expensive and didn't quite have the software like the PC Engine CD did in Japan. With the 32X, games like Virtua Racing and Virtua Fighter did show what they had in mind with the Sega 32X, but again, it was too expensive and it didn't have enough software to show off. Perhaps most damningly, it was just released really too close to the Sega Saturn's launch. Speaking of the Sega Saturn, that had an amazingly bad launch in the US.
You are approaching Saturn. You are only seconds away.
Someone at Sega decided to launch the thing at a surprise launch that pissed off the retailers and developers, which is a really, really, really smart move there. Heavy sarcasm. A lot of the blame goes to Bernie Stolar, who got fired from Sony prior to, but really, the people at Sega who had to go along with that plan, they're also to blame too for not only hiring the guy, but also not telling him that, yeah, this is a bad idea, fam. The three failures of these three pieces of hardware went down in history as how not to do business and caused Sega to go into a huge financial hole that caused serious issues in the late 90s.
Mario, ciao Rio, azzamata for you, huh?
Was it Shenmue and the Dreamcast? Shenmue cost a lot of dosh to make, to the point where every Dreamcast owner would have needed to buy at least 2 copies for Sega to break even. And the Dreamcast, while decently popular, couldn't quite keep up with the PlayStation or 64 and had to worry about a new generation of consoles on the horizon. Perhaps the biggest failing of the Dreamcast was not having a DVD player at a time when DVDs were slowly becoming the new standard. Maybe if the Dreamcast launched in the States and in Europe in 1998, or maybe it launched with a DVD player a year later, maybe history would have been different. But again, the financial hole Sega was in the 90s really didn't help this Sega Dreamcast here. Was it going third party and the mixed reception to some of their games? Going third party after years as a hardware developer must have been very rough, like getting divorced by your spouse of 10 years or getting canned from your job. you're lost, you don't know what to do. Let's promote the hell out of the Sonic games on the GameCube, but ignore that nice Skies of Arcadia port. Let's give the PS2 an excellent Shinobi game in Virtua Fighter 4, but forget to market Nightshade and make a mediocre Astro Boy game. Let's not forget all the excellent Xbox games that totally got hosed because Xbox fans, they just don't have good taste. Not to mention the other games Sega released to meh reception or just were poorly marketed, if they even came stateside at all. Sega's poor handling as a third-party publisher definitely ran into the PS Wii 60 generation of gaming, with most of their non-Sonic games barely getting any love. Show of hands, how many people saw an advertisement for Infinite Space? One thing I did not mention in the video proper is certain games. So the reason why you're not seeing certain games being brought back, a good example of this is Jet Set Radio, is that at the time those games just didn't sell well either domestically or abroad. I know time has really validated those games such as Skies of Arcadia, Jet Set Radio, and I think now if they release them again on the new platforms digitally or even physically, I think they would do really well. We have seen that with the Panzer Dragoon remake that came out earlier this year, so maybe we can see more reboots in the future, but I wouldn't hold my breath. But if you're curious of why we haven't seen too many new games, that's why. In theory, at least. That makes sense in my head. All of the above contributed to Sega's status as a fallen hero in the gaming industry, but these were the results of the main issue that killed Sega. What was the root issue that led Sega down the path of failure? Well, here's a formula to Japanese companies. If a product is a success in Japan and the world, it's a success. If your product is a success in Japan but a bomb worldwide, it's still a success. If your product was a success worldwide but a failure in Japan, then the product is a failure. If your product bombed worldwide and in Japan, it probably just sucked to begin with. Sega was never accepted in their home country of Japan, and it caused a lot of internal conflict between Sega Japan and Sega of America. The Master System did really well in Brazil and Europe, but not Japan. The Genesis did really well in Europe and America, but not Japan. The Saturn did very well in Japan, but bombed worldwide due to insanely stupid marketing from Sega of America. The Sega Dreamcast had potential to unite fans worldwide, but by that point Sega had burned a lot of bridges, alienated fans, and they were in such a financial hole that it was too little, too late. I said it before in my History of Sakura Tyson video, the day Sammy Corporation bought out Sega was the day old Sega died, and that definitely would explain their strange behavior in the 2000s. Still, hope wasn't lost. A long-awaited follow-up to Phantasy Star Online was being released.
In Japan.
Sega is making sick JRPGs and strategy games.
In Japan.
Not to mention all their toys and arcade machines and some very fly merchandise.
In Japan.
You get what I'm saying. Sega focused too hard on capturing the Japanese market while ignoring their fans abroad. And that's what happens. Sometimes someone tries way too hard to seek approval from a certain crowd, but in doing so they ignore the fans who loved them initially. Like all those really crap metalcore bands who went serious and now suck. Wage War, Asking Alexandria, Bring Me the Horizon. You guys sold out. Go back to metalcore. Sega eventually won the Japanese crowd, but at the expense of the devoted fandom they built around the world. Most people outside Japan think of Sega as a company way past their prime, making mediocre Sonic games and very little else, despite having some cool content.
In Japan.
But something happened. I think it was the failure of Sonic Boom, where Sega said that they felt like they betrayed customers' trust in recent years. While at the time, those words rang hollow, but in hindsight, they really followed up. More of Sega's properties came stateside with huge promotions such as Yakuza 0 and Persona 5. Games that were once stuck in Japan saw localized releases, their old catalog got star treatment for the modern platforms. Sega stopped farming out to AT games and made a high-quality Genesis repo that stands tall with Nintendo's efforts. And Sega is even seeing themselves and fans revive some of their classic franchises to strong results. While there is work to be done, I am glad that Sega is kicking itself back into shape. They will probably never be as big as they were back in the Genesis era. However, if they keep up with how they have been in recent years, I'm sure everything will be fine. So there you go, those are the reasons why Sega's reputation has really tanked outside of Japan. That said though, Sega has been doing pretty well at redeeming their name in recent years, similar to other companies such as Capcom, SNK, and especially Nintendo. So I am ready for this new age of Japanese games going forward, and I really hope that Sega just really brings in the future. Some points of advice, better marketing. Your Western marketing division isn't that good. Step 2, bring back Skies of Arcadia. I say this so many times, just fucking do it for me. Step 3, Sonic Adventure remake. We need a Sonic Adventure remake. Step 4, just give us a new Virtual Fighter already. It's quite clear you guys want to do a new Virtual Fighter. Just give us a new Virtual Fighter already. Or if you're not going to do that, just make sure you port the old collection to the new systems, roll back netcode, the works, and it will be 100% Gucci. Okay, Sega? Okay. So before I let you guys go, make sure you subscribe to the channel once again, and if you're not following me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, @zmangs. And yeah, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Make sure you have a nice cold one for Sega after this video is done. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Take it easy, everybody.